Hello everybody, welcome to 3Y TV. Tonight, we got the iRacing Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Product action for you. Tonight's race, the Northwest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s. Carlos, I'll tell you what, this is a race that I had circled very early on in the season. I wanted to see these super late models out there on the racetrack here at the Paperclip, the famed Martinsville Speedway, for two 100-lap duels. What are you expecting to see here tonight?
Definitely, for sure, a lot of heated tempers. It's Martinsville, and no matter how good your league is, something's always going to happen here at the famous Paperclip. Peter, man, it's going to take a bunch of clean drivers to have a good night here tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've seen a lot of fantastic racing out of these drivers here in the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products all year long. So I'm expecting to see much more out of them here tonight. And I heard a couple of drivers here early on saying that the racetrack is very, very slick, very, very hot out there here in qualifying, as we only have 26 cars here this week. So it looks like everyone's going to start the two A mains, which is fairly unique for the Northwest Tour. I heard that it's very hot and slick, 130 degrees right now here in the qualifying session. But speaking of good racing, Carlos, I'll tell you what, we have a pretty cool sponsor for tonight's race. We got the Northwest Super Late Model Series. And ladies and gentlemen, don't get confused with this being the Northwest Tour, this iRacing League. The Northwest Super Late Model Series is a real-life series. They're running 6 races in 2020. Fantastic racing. And your 2019 champion, Trevor Cristiani, won that championship by only 3 points over Alan Kress, and then Garrett Evans, a former series champion, 4 points back. 6 races long last year. It'll be the same again this year, but some very, very good racing there. We're going to highlight them at other times here tonight, but we're in qualifying. And there's the number 48 machine going around the racetrack. That is Travis McKinney. What about that number 31 machine getting that fantastic race at Iowa Speedway just a week ago? But there is Travis McKinney bringing it down pit road. You can see that live leaderboard there on the left side of your screen to keep track here of this qualifying session. Just about 2 minutes left, and we'll move over into the next session, which is where the first of the 2 A mains will be here tonight. In fact, that is it. The checkered flag has gone out for the qualifying session, so it looks like Nick Bellamy, your fast time here tonight with a 20.478. In fact, won that pole by about 6/100ths of a second. Pretty sizable for a racetrack of this size, only a half mile here at Martinsville. But Carlos, they're going to move it over to another server so they can get that A main set up. But how about we bring up the current point standings while we watch this helicopter cam slowly but surely make its way around the Martinsville Speedway. And, of course, the big talking point this season has been the rookie Ryan Gormley up at the top of the point standing, 679 points up there. Already got a win this year. Seth Frazier currently sitting second place in points, 21 markers back. Shane Quinn. Shane was on a complete tear going into Iowa, but unfortunately Iowa didn't quite go his way. I've seen in the chat already Dean Quinn saying go Shane, so we'll have to keep an eye on whether or not Shane Quinn can get back to winning ways here tonight. Bart Hector Jr., 4th place in points, and Sean Brightsman rounding out your top 5. But Carlos, beyond Ryan Gormley, we've had a couple different talking points so far this year. What's kind of stood out to you in the point standings?
The main thing that's stood out for me, and a part of me, I'm completely blanking on the name. We had a driver who was winning, had won 3 races very early on in the season, and unfortunately is unable to actually participate in iRacing for a bit. Excuse me while I'm trying to figure out the name of who that was.
Caden
Anderson. Thank you. Yes, perfect. I got so much on my plate right now, trying to set up for the new server and everything. Usually Greg is here in the booth taking care so that I don't have to bring my voice into this. But fortunately for him, unfortunately for us, he is currently in Canada. Maybe not right now, but he was commentating for his local hockey team. So congrats to them. I believe they just got off a win. And he should be back next week. But yeah, Caden Anderson is kind of like the biggest upset in kind of more ways than one. Unfortunately, not able to come back and actually keep the points lead, which we've seen him dropping. He's currently right now outside the top 10, which is why he's not on the list. But that's the biggest thing for me, Peter. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of mentioned Ryan Gormley, the rookie, being up there at the top of the points board at this stage of the season. Very, very impressive. Been fast pretty much every week we've been on the racetrack here in the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products, and Ryan Gormley was the second fastest qualifier here tonight at Martinsville. So just kind of backing that up with another good run. But while we get things sorted up, why don't we switch gears back to the Northwest Super Late Model Series. Of course, like I mentioned, Trevor Christiani, your 2019 champion. Alan Kress, Garrett Evans, and Tristan Hayter coming up right behind him in points. But looking at 2020, I mentioned it, 6 races. You're going to start off the season at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval up in Washington. That's a quarter-mile racetrack, 150 laps there. Then the second and third rounds, the South Sound 125 and the Miller 200 will both be at South Sound Speedway in Tenino, Washington. That's a 3/8 of a mile racetrack. Then in August, so the first race was in April. You can tell this is a pretty lengthy season. Second round is in June. Third round is in the 1st of August. Fourth round, Yakima Speedway, Yakima, Washington. The Sun City 125 half-mile racetrack. So you got something as small as a quarter mile all the way up to a half mile. And Yakima Speedway is pretty cool because BJ Tidrick won there in 2006, the NASCAR Northwest Series. So that's kind of a unique fact. You'll see BJ Tidrick here in the iRacing Northwest Tour tonight. The 5th race is at Hermiston Raceway, the Atomic 125, another 3/8 of a mile racetrack, and also Hermiston Raceway, a sponsor of the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. Cool to have them. And then you round out the season, September 26th, Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. They kind of bookend the season, another quarter mile there. And I'll tell you what, it's pretty unique to have a quarter mile racetrack be the bookend of the series. It's going to be a very, very interesting race once we get to September, because really you want your season finale to be at a very tight quarter mile racetrack. There's going to be a lot of action for all the fans. There you can see the 2020 schedule on the screen, as well as their sponsors of that league. Got a lot of their people who make that possible. So very, very cool.
I can't get the mouse
there
out of
for
the
the Northwest Super Late Model Series. You got the mouse on the screen just a little bit, but very, very cool there to have them on board. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is not an iRacing series. Don't get this in the mind. If you are a fan of grassroots racing, go check them out if you're located in the Northwest portion of the United States, because last season the championship was decided by only 3 points. So you might as well go get your butt in a seat at a racetrack to go watch them in person if you are located up there in the Northwest portion of the United States. So pretty darn cool. I think one of the big questions going into this year's Super Late Model Series will be whether or not Garrett Evans, a former champion, will be able to get another championship. He came up just 4 points short. Or I should say 5 points short, although he did win 2 races, so presuming that would be the tiebreaker, I guess 4 points short. So 2 wins to Garrett Evans' name last season. Can he get another championship this year? But we're waiting to see if we can get this next session going for you. The first of 2 100-lap feature races here tonight in the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. And great to have Joe's on board. Of course, if you are up in the Northwest portion of the United States and go to a racetrack, I'm sure you have seen Joe's Racing Products there. Very, very common up in the Northwest portion of the U.S. And every once in a while, even down here in the state of Texas, I'll see a Joe's Racing Products sticker. So pretty cool that they have that type of spans out there. But we're going to step away for just a brief moment. We're going to run some quick commercials, and we'll be right back here on 3Y TV.
the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Martinsville Speedway. As you can see, we're just now loading into this new session, but we already got some cars on the racetrack, and we are now just about 3 minutes away from the drop of the green flag, or at least having all the cars down there on the racetrack to grid. So while we have this brief moment, I do want to give a few shout-outs to some of the people that we have in the chat. I know we have Kathy in the chat, as always, here on 3 Wide TV, as well as some others here tonight. So make sure, if you are in the chat, that you're making yourself heard. Persha Drake, Go M by the Man, Chrissy Reed in there as well, and Jake Crable. Jay and I were actually on the racetrack together a little bit earlier in the iRacing simulator at Daytona, preparing for next week's Daytona 24 Hours in iRacing. Should be pretty darn cool. I'm going to be running that myself. Oh, really? What are you going to be driving, Carlos?
I'll be driving the Ford GT with my old racing buddies. So it'll be a blast. Justin Kolb, Trevin Robbie, a couple other people that you and maybe the guys here don't know about. Oh, Chris Ryan, who was on the booth a while ago last year. He'll also be in the team. It's going to be a fun event. We do it every year.
Very, very cool. I know I'm racing with a couple of buddies as well. We're going to be running in the GT3 class with the Audi this year, kind of the underdog car, usually the Mercedes. But anyway, nonetheless, we'll get back to Martinsville Speedway because that is what it's hand here tonight for the NorthWest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s, the first of the 200 laps here being lined up for you here in just a brief moment. But there's a couple things when you come to Martinsville Speedway that we're going to have to watch out for. Drivers have to watch out for these things consistently when they come to this racetrack. But the first one, Carlos, is wheel spin. This racetrack, you have some very, very tight corners, very, very low speeds. And I'll tell you what, when you put the power down, sometimes you get a lot of wheel spin, especially when you're going green on a restart, because a lot of the cars will restart in the middle of turn number 3 and 4. And when you're pacing here, pace speed's pretty slow. It's only about 35 miles an hour. And as a race car driver, what do you want to do? You want to hit that loud pedal as fast as you can. And so that can inevitably lead to accidents. I know it has caught me out before. The wheel spin on restarts is absolutely brutal. And of course, here in the NorthWest Tour, presented by Joe's Racing Products, they're unable to change the Hoosier tires on these super late models. As we got one car hard in the wall on the backstretch. That's Joshua Beal in the 1-1-2. Ooh, Shane Quinn there getting loose coming out of turn number 2. So that's exactly what I was just saying, that you get this wheel spin, and it will cause these race cars to jump out from underneath you and get completely sideways. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Another thing we have to keep an eye on, Carlos, is braking. This racetrack is notorious for being tough on brakes, and although iRacing doesn't model brake fade, one thing that you have to be mindful of is the braking points of all the other race cars behind you. If you're tucked up behind another race car and they brake just slightly before you expect them to, it can inevitably lead to an accident. So those are things we're going to have to keep an eye on. I'm sure we're going to see at least one instance of both of those here tonight. And you and I both listened in on the drivers' meeting. And, the admins kind of said, make sure you give people a little bit of room. It's going to be slick out there. Current track temperature here in this session. See if you can bring that up, Carlos. It's 121 degrees Fahrenheit track temperature. That's pretty hot. Yeah, that's a little bit cooler than what we had in practice, a little bit cooler than what we had in qualifying. But I'll tell you what, it's only 3:25 in the afternoon here in the middle of the summer in Virginia. That's the time where this race is set. It's set in the month of May, so it will probably continue to heat up for the remainder of the race. So it's going to get pretty slick out there for these race car drivers who are already seeing indication that it is nice and slick. But you can see those practice times up there at the top left of the screen. And really, we saw some really good times in the qualifying session. Ryan Gormley, he was second in that session. Nick Bellamy was the fastest in qualifying. He's fourth in this brief practice session. Ryan Gormley 6th. He was the second fastest in qualifying. So a couple of these drivers really backing up the pace that we've already seen out of them here tonight. So very, very interesting to see that. Jay Crable in the chat saying, I'm in the chat. Yee, yee.
Yeah, he is. He's in the chat. Hey, Jay. How you doing? So I know the timer says 12 minutes, but we should be going green. I thought we would have already been going green, Peter, unless I may have misheard you.
Yeah, the most recent information that I got from race control was that we were going to advance the session at 8:25 West Coast time. We're a little bit past that right now, but nonetheless, it's still good to see a lot of these cars going around the racetrack right now, getting a few extra laps in. It's going to acclimatize themselves just a little bit to the slightly different track condition that they experienced a little bit earlier in practice and qualifying with a little bit hotter racetrack. So, Brian Gormley there, smacking the wall. Brad Carpenter probably following him there. But there was just a brief word from race control. I'm not quite sure what Seth Frazier had to say there, but nonetheless, I think we're waiting on maybe one or two more people to join this session. Cameron Doyle, in fact, he just joined this session, so I know he was one of those drivers who was kind of left in the other session when we left it, but now he has moved his way over, so I'm sure we'll be getting the green flag here fairly shortly, Carlos.
Yes, something that, in case some of you guys, any of you guys have wondered, traditionally, the max field size for the iRacing NorthWest Tour is 24 drivers. That's 16 drivers that qualified, and then 6 drivers from the B main, and then 2 provisionals. Pardon me, I had a little brain fart there. I'm maxing out at 24 drivers. This race will have 26 drivers, and the reason being that is that the officials made the decision that there wasn't enough drivers to dictate a B main, so everybody's making it in. However, the same rules apply. Top 16 drivers will get passing points, Peter.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see once we do get in. Ooh, wow, look at that. Travis Barnes getting all up out of shape coming out of turn number 4. Fantastic save for that man as he now works his way through turn number 1 and 2. But the racetrack slowly but surely starting to get quiet, as I'm sure a lot of these drivers are now preparing for the start of this first 100 lap of the Northwest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s here tonight. Going to be very, very cool. And of course, with the Northwest Super Late Model Series jumping on board and sponsoring tonight's race, we also want to thank a lot of our other sponsors here tonight. You saw a couple of their commercials here just a brief moment ago, but Joe's Racing Products for, of course, sponsoring this iRacing Northwest
we go.
Tour, Sarge's Place, Rustic Moon, Hermiston Raceway, Custom Fab, PFC Brakes, Pyrotech, and Pyrotech, maybe not necessarily a sponsor, but the Pyrotech helmets that these race winners, or the champions are going to get. There's one that's going to go to the champion. There's also going to be one that's going to be given to a random driver in the league. That's pretty darn cool. Tidrick's Quality Transmissions, Mike Wood Race Designs, the Northwest Race Report, Short Track Racer on YouTube, the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, Mission Valley Super Oval, and State Line Speedway. But as you can see, you can't quite see because just out of your picture, there are race cars that are just now getting there. They are, and it looks like your inversion is complete. So starting on the pole here for this race, and remember the top 16.
It appears
go ahead,
the
Carlos?
drivers are still coming in and out. There we go. Okay, sorry. You may continue.
So it looks like Ellie Musgrave will start this race from the pole. He was not the fastest qualifier in the qualifying session that we did see, but of course we do have the inversion here in the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. So that is how Ellie will start this race from the pole position. And on the outside of the front will be the number 77 machine of Josh Childress. Row number 2 will be comprised of Cameron Doyle, and the number 6 machine made it into this session quite late, and alongside of that number 6 is the 47 of Josh Robinson. Row number 3 is the 911 machine of Adam Holm, and the number 4 machine of Shane Quinn. Remember, Shane Quinn, like I mentioned earlier, was on a tear, but didn't seem to be able to find much grip in the practice session, so we'll see what Shane can do in the race. Joey Bird and Joshua Beal will make up row number 4. Row number 5 will be the number 32 of Seth Frazier and the number 48 of Travis McKinney. Bart Hector Jr., Ryan Gormley will make up row number 6, while Nick Bellamy, fastest in qualifying, will start from lucky number 13th position in the 20 machine. Dylan Huffines, who is outside, in 14th. Thomas O'Hara and Christopher Hine, the 75 and 51 machines, make up row 8. Brian Payne and BJ Tidrick make up row number 9. Eric Cheney and Casey Garber, number 76 and 96, row 10. Brad Morrison in 21st and 26th. Casey Tillman, 992 machine, 22nd. Travis Barnes will start 23rd. Sean Brightsman and Brad Carpenter round out tonight's field, but pace car has head down pit road. Ellie Musgrave now will have the race in the hands of the flagman. And there is the green flag back in the air, or in the air for the first time, I should say, here at Martinsville Speedway. And Ellie got off to a fantastic start. And look at Josh Childress already digging down there on that yellow curb. We're going to have to keep an eye on that curb. That curb runs all the way around turn 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And a lot of drivers who hit it end up in the barrier. Look at this, some side-by-side action. Here's Travis McKinney in the 48 machine, kind of stuck up there on the high side. That's going to be another thing. Getting stuck on the high side here can be deadly. It's like getting freight train down there on the inside groove. And there's Joey Bird and the number 24 machine trying to get underneath Travis McKinney here, going off into turn number 3 and 4. You see hard on the brakes. And if you can stay on that outside, sometimes that outside line comes in here at Martinsville. It really depends on the setup. And Travis McKinney doing everything he can to hold on here, while Ellie Musgrave up at the front has checked out to about a quarter of a second lead, about a full car length over Josh Childress. But there's some really good racing near the back of the pack. And I'll tell you what, Carlos, looking at the backstretch, you see Sean Brightsman back there. He is mired deep in the field. Lots of cars in front of the number 46 machine. Look at just how far back he already is. He's pretty much almost a half lap down already. And we are not yet working lap number 5.
Yeah, this is one of those racetracks where I kind of don't want to actually qualify really, really well. Those bonus points, those passing points, pardon me, do really help. But Martinsville, Bristol, those are the type of tracks where it's just, if you're in a bad position, it will definitely ruin your night. Now, some damage, it's not going to do anything here at Martinsville, but just if you hit it hard enough or you get just enough damage, it could 100% just ruin your night. Thankfully, we haven't seen a caution, and Sean Brightsman is definitely one of those drivers that wants to get to the front incredibly quickly.
Absolutely, keeping an eye on the so far. Caution flag is out. There's a car stopped on the back stretch, and a couple cars. Sean Brightsman upside down in the 46 machine, and trying to roll back over, and maybe a little bit of help there from Casey Tillman. Tillman goes around once again, And there's still carnage back there. This is actually, it happened, Carlos, after the caution flag was already out. I think it was Joshua Beal in the 112 that actually initiated this caution. We'll have to go back and see. There's the 112 going around. Might have been a little bit of held, but you can see, I think he alt F4'd or escaped to pit road, but there was cars stacking up behind him, just couldn't get on the binders fast enough. Here's Travis Barnes. There was contact between the 8 and the 76 here. And there's that contact. The 76 went around and got stopped right there in the middle of the track. Nowhere for Brightsman to go. And unfortunately, that number 46 machine ended up on its lid. Now he will be able to get a tow back to pit road, but he will be mired down in the pack. And Carlos, we already mentioned Brightsman just a few laps ago, how he was stuck back there in the pack. Not even just a few laps
ago. That was literally the last lap that before that happened, and I feel so bad. It's just, I had to open my mouth. It's 2020. I thought I threw away the ray gun, but apparently it's still back. And Peter, it's devastating to hear that. I don't know if we can get a word with Sean Brightsman. I don't know if you think that's a good idea, Peter, but I feel like I'm going to take blame for that one. I'm going to take the strike on that one.
Well, I'll tell you what, the accident was very strange. I don't know if we can go back and get one more look from Joshua Beal's number 112 machine, but it's almost like he had a hardware failure coming out of the corner, out of turn number 2. It was very strange how the number 112 machine just shot straight up into the wall. Pace car coming down the front stretch right now, and the pace car lights have turned off. So let's see if we can see this here on replay before we go back to green flag action here. But here we go, coming off into the corner here. Watch this 112 machine. Everything's fine and dandy, and then all of a sudden, oh, this must have been a lap prior.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if we'll.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to find. No, we'll get there. Oh wait, where's the pace car?
We're going green. We're going green right now. Pace car is on pit road, so we'll have to put that one away. But I'll tell you what, pace car on pit road, once again, race in the flagman's hand, and Ellie Musgrave leads the field back to green flag once again. Josh Childress in the the double 7 machine, not the 777. The double 7 machine under fire now from Cameron Doyle in that 6 Traxxas machine. In fact, that's kind of a interesting template on that number 6 machine. He's running,
48.
Oh, that's Travis McKinney gone around in hard contact with a couple of other cars in the back. It's a parking lot in turn number 4. Once again, Carlos, a car gets turned around up in the field, and it looks like the back of the field just nowhere to go. Brad Carpenter, last week's race winner, getting involved in it. A lot of heavy damage to the front end of that number 31 machine. Let's see what happened here. And Ryan Gormley getting into it with the 48 machine. And the 74, lots of damage. 26, 76. Assuming that's not the 26, that's the 92.
31
so interesting to see this. Yeah, this is on board with the 31 machine. Brad Carpenter, see, tried to get on the brake and just unable to do so, right into the side at the spun 48 of Travis McKinney, but unfortunately that's going to put McKinney way back, and Travis Barnes is on pit road right now.
He's been on pit road for about 3 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, Barnes has been on pit road since the first accident.
So, something else that I'm not quite sure if we fully mentioned, there is difficulty in passing as well, but Ellie might be in a pretty decent position if we go back to last year when we were also broadcasting this event. I believe in the second race of the Twin 100s, Matt Hackathorn actually started in the back. Started up in the front because he had issues in the first race, and went on to lead every lap and win the race. So Ellie, with all these cautions going on, it might be a benefit towards Ellie.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. One thing I did want to mention was actually the number 6 machine, Cameron Doyle. He actually has a Tesla template. That's what I was trying to say when that caution flag came out. So that's kind of unique. I haven't ever seen a Tesla template. So anyway, pace car lights stay on here, and there's the.
I've seen the Tesla template before, but I haven't seen it for the super late model. So it's pretty interesting. It depends on how your views on electric vehicles are. I'm okay with it, but it's very nice to see all different types of manufacturers coming on board to the super late model series.
I'm sure everyone around him is just wondering when his battery's going to run out, and he's going to have to come down pit road and either hop into a different car like they used to do in Formula E, or get a full battery swap. I don't think that's a easy thing to do. So hopefully
that's why we're doing the 2100s.
Yeah, okay, there you go. He's just enough energy to get through 100 laps of
no burnout.
Martinsville. It's only 50 miles, as a half-mile racetrack. We're already through 16 of the 100 scheduled laps here in the first of the two twin races, brought to you by the NorthWest Super Late Model Series. Go check them out at NWSLMS.com. All right, race back in the hands of Ellie Musgrave. And look at Ellie just trying to slow up the field just a little bit. Green flag back in the air. Definitely caught that number 77 machine. Looked like Childress was creeping just a little bit there off into turn number 1, but the field now working their way through the back stretch into turn number 3 and 4. And look at Shane Quinn and that number 4 machine. Race winner. Oh, really tight there with a driver of the number 24 machine, Joey Bird, and that's going to allow, I think, Joey Bird to get by Shane Quinn. We'll have to wait and see if Joey can make that pass stick. But look at this, 3 wide further back in the pack. Ryan Gormley, your points leader in that scuffle. And there's Travis Barnes back on the racetrack after a lengthy pit stop.
You may have missed it, but Gormley actually got some trouble the previous lap. It looks like he got loose entering the corner. Almost kept it off the wall, and I think he actually hit the wall in the front stretch. Yeah, there we go. Kept on pounding it up against the wall. Lost a ton of spots, but I think that car's going to be A-okay.
Yeah, these super late models can absolute beating. Oh, there's the number 47 machine on pit road. That's Josh Robinson in that car, and kind of interesting to see Josh on pit road as we speak. Was on the lead lap in that number 47 machine, but so far we're still under green flag conditions. Oh wow, BJ Tidrick way up the racetrack in turn number 3 and 4. There he is in that number 72 Trans Am.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be happy about that. That got some side contact with the 7 at Heffines. But still very early on in the race, everybody's being taught to give and take. I'm sure it was probably just a racing accidents, but we'll see. We'll see how BJ feels about that the next time they get close to each other, which could be in a couple laps as we're seeing more cars go side by side. Peter, what are you seeing over there?
Well, the whole field is starting to get single file. It's very, very difficult. Ooh, we have a car stopped. Car stopped on the backstretch for a brief moment. That was Joshua Beal. He's taking that car back to pit lane. And in the 112 machine, Josh Robinson still sitting on pit road. But I was going to say, most of the field has gotten single file, but we got some side-by-side action a little bit further back. This is a battle for the 14th position between Brad Carpenter in the 31 and Casey Garber in the number 96. And Garber looks like just got a little bit loose there coming out of the corner, allowed Carpenter to get a good run, but Garber fights back here going off into turn number 3. Coming now down the front stretch. These laps tick by ever so quickly here at Martinsville Speedway, and it does look like, ooh, almost contact there. Travis McKinney almost getting into the back bumper of Carpenter. But that, whoa, 992.
Caution.
Casey Tillman around. Ryan Gormley getting involved with it, and that's your points leader, remember, the 44 of Gormley. This will be an interesting one. Ooh, looks like a little bit of contact there, Carlos, maybe earlier in the corner, and Tillman and Gormley both racing with each other hard there on the backstretch, not giving each other too much room. Let's see what happened here, because it looked like Tillman got really low. He had to check up for
checkup that
the 48 of McKinney.
Yeah, that was a checkup we were noticing earlier in the 92. I've been in this situation. I'm sure the 92 will be taking fault for that one, but I've just been in a situation where something drastic happened up ahead, and I got involved, and you're still in that kind of like heated section where you don't know what's going on, so then you make a mistake and you move up, and unfortunately the points leader was up there. And so far, tough night for our current points leader, struggling, going down pit road right now, getting some damage repaired, but that car, I'm sure he's not where he wants to be right now. But we're gonna go ahead to a quick break, get a message from our sponsors, and we'll be right back for another restart zone.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Martinsville Sway. The pace car lights are off, and we're going to get set to go back to green flag action. Ellie Musgrave in the 23 machine, still your race leader, as we have now eclipsed the 1/4 distance here in the first of two NorthWest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s. And as Carlos mentioned, single file restart. First time we've seen that here tonight. And Ellie Musgrave off to a fantastic start here once again. Really, Ellie has been on the throttle all night long, getting off into turn number 1. And Josh Childress unable to do anything with that 23 machine just yet. Cameron Doyle still sits third. Shane Quinn fourth. In fact, out of that top 5, only Shane Quinn has moved forward. Shane started in 6th, now running 4th. Joey Bird started in 7th, now running in 5th. But Seth Frazier, biggest mover out of the top 6. He's gained 3 spots. And Nick Bellamy, remember Nick Bellamy, yeah, he was the fastest qualifier. And we had qualifying due to the inversion started back in 13th. So Nick Bellamy starting to work his way through this field here, as we now just have 69 laps to go in the first of these Twin 100s, brought to you by the NorthWest Super Late Model Series. And going a little bit further back in the pack, there's the number 911 of Adam Holm. He is currently running in the 9th position, right behind Bart Hector Jr. and that baby blue number 82 machine. Going up near the front here, Shane Quinn. Shane Quinn dives to the
leader.
Ellie Musgrave is around the 23 machine. Your race leader involved coming back up the racetrack. And the Huffines, the Dylan Huffines getting involved there. But that is absolute heartbreak for Ellie Musgrave. A little bit of a nudge off the front end of Josh Childers, and look, nowhere for Shane Quinn in the 4 machine to go. That is a absolute heartbreak for Ellie, as well as a lot of the other cars looking back from the bumper cam of that machine. Yep, just got tagged by the 77 machine. In fact, Childers went right through that machine just a little bit, but Ellie Musgrave's going to find herself back in the 23rd position now. Ooh, yeah, there you go, from the helicopter cam. That is one thing, Carlos, that we just, it's something that you always see at Martinsville Speedway. You always see that bump and tag, that bump and run, that whatever you want to call it. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out for Ellie here. And now back in the 11th position. Luckily, not tail end of the field, which is good news, but not where you want to be after leading the first 33 laps.
Yeah, to me, it didn't seem like anything intentional. It's just something that we were talking about since we tried to find a 77 who has already taken the tap. He has already called it, my bad. So one more and he'll be tapped out for the race. It just seemed like something we were mentioning of just different braking points. The 77 really got his car to roll well in the middle of the corner. Unfortunately, Ellie was there, and it's something that we'll probably be seeing maybe a little bit more of that towards the end of the race once drivers get a little bit more heated and they start trying to actually going for spots and possibly win the race. So unfortunate for Ellie, but I'm sorry.
I was going to say, ladies and gentlemen, Sean Brightsman's back on the lead lap. Lucky dog.
Oh, wow. Look
46 machine flipped upside down on lap number 1 or 2, somewhere around the beginning of the race, and now Brightsman's back on the lead lap. So that's pretty impressive. In fact, let's see if
let's see what he talks
he's headed down pit road. I'm going to let him do what he needs to on pit road. Otherwise, I would have dragged him up here into the booth with us for a quick word. But let's see, maybe once he hits his pit box, I can drag him up here and just kind of see what he's thinking in that number 46 machine after being upside
There
down.
we go.
Sean Brightsman, Peter Short in the 3Y TV booth. You got a copy?
Got a copy, Peter.
Well, man, you were 3 laps down on your roof, but now you're on pit road getting some more of that damage repaired. How much damage you got left, and how far do you think you can get up through this field?
I'm hoping to make it up to the top 10. We'll see how the cautions hold, but I'm hoping so.
Well, you've had a few short runs there. Any difference in handling? Can you notice anything wrong with that 46 machine?
Not anything specific. It feels a little slow right now, but I really just was trying to stay clean and keep the nose clean and as clean as it can be to get those lucky dogs, so that way I could get back on the lead lap and battle. So I think it'll be fine in the long run.
All right, well, pace cars off, get set to go back to green flag racing. Best of luck, Sean.
Thank you.
Green flag's back
All
out,
right.
and Cameron Doyle has benefited from the 2 leaders having an issue, as finds himself currently in the lead. However, the 4 is Shane Quinn, looking deeply in the inside, trying to see if he can make anything happen. But based on what happened last time, I'm sure all the drivers are aware. As the 4 is looking on the inside, the 6 is just giving too much room. Peter, I don't know how this strategy is going to work out with the leader running the middle.
Yeah, well, I thought that the number 6 of Cameron Doyle was going to shut door on the number 4 machine because he had the opportunity to shut the door on Shane Quinn, but decided not to. Gave him a lot of room in turn number 1 and 2, and Shane Quinn's going to roll his way through turn number 3 and 4 on the bottom to the race lead. Shane Quinn, number 4, new race leader here at Martinsville Speedway. And what about Joey Bird in the number 24 machine running in 3rd? Joey has quietly made his way up into the 3rd position. And look at Seth Frazier in the number 32 machine looking, kind of peeking his nose to the inside of the number 24. So some good racing up here in the top 5. And can't forget Nick Bellamy in the number 20 machine, your fast qualifier, making his way up to the front, starting to make some noise. So very good stuff here near the front as we're getting close to the halfway distance here in the first of 2 Northwest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s, Carlos.
Yeah, and we were talking about fastest movers, highest movers, whatever the term is. Take a look at the number 31 of Brad Carpenter. Unfortunately, it looks like he still hasn't figured out his trading pains because he still has his numbers not showing. He is currently up. He's currently up 13 spots, so congratulations to Brad, as he's also trying to find himself and put himself in a good position. Hopefully get himself a chance to actually win this race before having to go all the way to the back for the 2nd twin, Peter.
Yeah, and I mean, man, that bright green Brad Carpenter machine coming off that win at Iowa, really looking pretty good. It got some damage early on, but like we said, up 13 position, which is very, very impressive. But we have some good action here in the top 5. Nick Bellamy to the inside of Seth Frazier. That's, contact! Seth Frazier going around! And that is not going to bring, will it bring out a caution?
Wow.
It will not.
Seth?
So that is very lucky for Nick Bellamy. Seth Frazier, fantastic save, but Frazier's going to drop well through the field all the way back to around the 13th position. There you see the contact on the screen on the replay, and Seth Frazier had to do everything he could to avoid those barriers or barrels at the end of the backstretch pit road, at least the old pit road here, there on the backstretch. And wow, Seth Frazier now down in 13th. Oh, contact! Seth Frazier getting into it once again with Casey Garber and Brad Carpenter. Carpenter checked up. Frazier made contact. Got the front end of that number 32 squirrely. Made contact with Casey Garber. Still green flag though. Garber's going to get shuffled back a couple positions.
I'll say this about Seth. Seth had every opportunity to whip that car around, even without getting damaged and bringing out a caution. But he's a true racer, and he did the best he could to not wreck that car and not bring out a caution and ruin everybody else's fun. He is a true racer.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Carl. Oh, wow, Brad Carpenter got really right in front of Seth Frazier. I'm still watching that number 32 machine, but there's a lot of action right around that portion of the racetrack right now. Unfortunately, Frazier clipped the wall there just a little bit out of the corner, but man, this little group right here, kind of accordioning in the corners, and that's, I think, what's led to some of the contact when Seth Frazier made contact with the back end of that number 31 machine. They kind of had checked up kind of as a cohesive group. And unfortunately, Seth Frazier didn't quite get the drift of the car in front of him as, Frazier underneath Carpenter once again. This is a really good battle. And, BJ Tidrick and Thomas O'Hara, they're doing battle now for the 7th position. Tidrick will take that away from O'Hara. So Tidrick now up into 7th.
Take a look at any other battles going on. This would be the closest one. This little cluster here, starting at 9th place with Ellie Musgrave. It's about 4 cars there getting close together, especially in the corners when they all get bundled up like that. Some of the drivers are starting to check up for each other. It's everybody has to be careful to not avoid making contact. You see the 32 he thought about going down in there, and if he didn't, he thought about maybe intimidating the 31 into moving up. I've been known to kind of make that move before, pressing L2 to intimidate. It never works out for me though, but 32 has shifted it around and is now trying to go into the outside of the 31. Peter, all of these drivers are starting to get closer together, which I don't know what else you're seeing, but this may be the section to watch.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, you can make outside groove work. What you have to do, though, is you really have to pinch the car on the inside on exit of the corner. That's the one spot where that inside groove won't be able to get the power down, and you can kind of power around the outside of them if you get lucky.
That's
Seth Frazier and Carpenter, yep, they made a little bit of contact there in turn number 1 and 2, and that's going to get them pretty much back to single file, although here comes Travis McKinney now looking underneath Seth Frazier in the 32 machine, but I think Frazier will be able to hold him off here going down the front stretch. Just watch Brad Carpenter kind of fishtailing down there.
Seth, not again!
Frazier! Wow, he saved it again. Give this guy some new underwear, because Seth Frazier's going to need 2 pairs here. Frazier throwing the block here down the backstretch saying, all right, I'm not going to be pushed around here anymore. And that number 32, wow, Brad Carpenter big time loose on the front straightaway. And Frazier's going to go around the outside of him, 3 wide off into turn number 1 and 2. This doesn't work here at Martinsville. And looks like the 96 of Garber's going to have to back out of it. And wow, that was almost a melee, but it all started when that man right there, bright green, Brad Carpenter, got way loose coming out of turn number 4 and ended up going 3 wide off into the corner. Riding on board now with Dylan Huffines. He just smacked the wall coming out of turn number 4. I think a couple of these drivers, they're seeing a lot of the cars in front of them scoot away from the field. They're trying their best now to get around the number 23 of Ellie Musgraves, but Ellie's doing a fantastic job of holding on to that 9th position. Remember, Ellie was shuffled all the way back to 11th after that contact when Ellie was leading the race, already back up into the 9th position and leading this little train of cars.
That's great to see Ellie recovering from that spin while she was leading the race. Could put her in a good position for the second main event, especially with a fresh car. That goes to say for a lot of these drivers. But seeing what else we're taking a look around, we're seeing side by side with Seth Frazier and the 48 of Travis McKinney, as well as the 31 and the 44 of Ryan Gormley. Ryan Gormley kind of turning it around once again with all the trouble that's been going on with him. I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't gone a lap down or more. He does have heavy damage, but this rookie's learning a thing or two about Martinsville, and Martinsville is not being nice today.
Contact at number 23.
Not again.
Around off the front end of the number 7 machine. No caution, and the 23 still stopped on the racetrack. Still no caution. Musgrave going now. And there was contact between the number 7 machine. We'll have to see that from, maybe, I would like to see that from the air then, Carlos. But it definitely, I saw the number 7 machine kind of bobble on my screen, usually indicative of, maybe just a little bit. We have a caution out. This is separate from that accident. Trying to find where this is on the racetrack. Unable to find it.
Yeah, I'm unable to find it as well.
Interesting. Not quite sure what has brought out this caution flag here, but we're back under caution. Getting word that it was the 76 machine of Eric Cheney who went around. There you go. Yeah, so, man, I don't know why that exactly brought out a caution. based on what we have seen, I don't think that should have brought out a caution, but caution flag in the air here.
That was
You
also
can
net
see
code.
that was completely netcode. That one is much more obvious than the previous one. So kind of the common denominator in these last two accidents, unfortunately, has been Ellie Musgrave and possibly having a little bit of connection issues.
Also, the sun is
Maybe
out.
not. I mean, maybe some slight connection issues might be leading to that net code, and we've thrown this term around quite a few times, net code. But for those of you who are watching who might not be familiar with the term, net code is essentially what we call ghost accidents. This is the best way to probably describe it, is when two cars do not physically make contact, but the underlying computer code in the software leads to the cars thinking that they are actually making contact. It's definitely a flaw, but the flaw is inherent because of the internet. Sometimes a driver will receive packets of data from other drivers, incomplete packets, I should say.
Peter,
And
I think
what
you're
that
losing them.
leads to, well, I have, it's I'm trying to break it down, Carlos. But anyway, basically, one side of the computer thinks that another car is actually making contact with it, but it's not actually. It's a long, complicated process, but it's inherent in sim racing, internet racing. You get it in just about every form of online racing game you play, unfortunately. But it's a little bit of lag, essentially, for people who are more familiar with the first-person shooter online gaming. But nonetheless, your race leader currently number 4 of Shane Quinn. I want to take this opportunity to once again highlight the Northwest Super Late Model Series. It is the sponsor of tonight's race for the Twin 100 races here tonight. They have a 6-race-long season in the Northwest region of the United States, going to the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, South Sound Speedway, Yakima Speedway, Hermiston Raceway, and of course the Neil Newberry 125 rounds out the season in late September. That season running all the way from April through September. And your 2019 champion was Trevor Christiani, so pretty cool there. They've been in the business since 2014, Carlos, and Garrett Evans has won 3 of those championships, so pretty darn cool that they've been around since 2014, giving the people up in the Northwest portion of the United States a place to race the super late models. But here in iRacing, this is a place to race the super late models, because that man right there, Shane Quinn, will lead his super late model down the front stretch of the green flag.
The down 911 car is up against the wall. The 72, the 44 Gormley caution is out once again.
And Carlos, this is something I had mentioned prior to tonight's race, that wheel spin is a huge thing here at Martinsville. It's caught me out as a race car driver because I got that power down a little bit, but there I think it caught out, was that BJ Tidrick? Was he the first one, or was it the 911 machine?
It was BJ Tidrick.
We'll see. Oh yeah, it was definitely BJ Tidrick. Unfortunately, the 911 machine had nowhere to go, and Ryan Gormley as well. Once again, this has so far been a race not to remember for that number 44 machine. Once to forget about this first Twin 100. You're riding on board here with Adam Holm, and hard in the inside wall. Luckily, Holm got away from it without losing too many positions. Well, we'll have to see.
Gormley missed the safer barrier too.
Yeah, so hard hit for that number 44 machine. Came into tonight as your points leader, doing battle with Seth Frazier. And really, Frazier's had an up-down night as well in that number 32 machine. He finds himself back in the same spot where he started this race, in 9th position. So that points battle might be a little bit closer after this race here tonight. Of course, we still have the second of the Twin 100s left to go after this one. But right now, your race leader, Shane Quinn. Carlos?
Yeah, let's see if we can have a quick conversation with the rookie to get his thoughts on Martinsville very quickly. I'm gonna go ahead and vamp as Peter goes in and gets Gormley set up so you can give him a quick chat. But based on what's going on, I don't think Gormley's very happy right now. Maybe not with the track. He may not be happy with some of the drivers. Peter, are you there?
Carlos? Well, yes, I am here, but unfortunately Ryan Gormley is away and muted currently.
That's right.
He mutes himself so he doesn't get pesky mid-race interviews,
Well, we can talk to
From
Shane
those-
Quinn because somebody has some advice for Shane Quinn. Let's go see if we can bring him up very quickly. In the meantime,
Shane Quinn, Peter Short, you got a copy?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Well, I'm guessing it's your dad is saying save your tires.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in the chat here on YouTube saying, "Hey, bud, you need to save your tires." So, how's that number 4 machine driving for you right now?
Feels really good. I'm trying not to push it too much, Dad. But I'm just, trying to hit my lines, hit my marks, and really, I'm just trying to get a good run off the corner every lap.
Of course, we saw a lot of drivers slip sliding around in practice earlier where the track temperature was up above 130 degrees. It's currently sitting at 122 degrees Fahrenheit, so a couple degrees cooler. Is the racetrack a little bit more drivable, or is it still pretty slick out there?
It evens out with tire wear. Tire wear goes up, track temp goes down. Car kind of feels the same the whole time.
All right, well, the pace car lights are off. We'll let you get back to it. Best of luck, Shane.
Thank you.
what a fantastic advice
All
from
right.
my father. That's great to hear, Peter.
I mean, I gotta say, if you save your tires here at Martinsville, that wheel spin that we just saw that caught out BJ Titterick doesn't happen as bad. You have more tire life left underneath you, so you can get back to the power a little bit sooner all the way around. But look at Shane Quinn using that restart line, goes right up by the wall, cuts it back down. And do you know why he does that? To straighten up the corner so your wheel spin won't be so bad. That's what Shane Quinn's thinking through his head. Still holding on to that race lead over the number 6 of Cameron Doyle. Joey Bird, 24 machine, sits in third. But look at Nick Bellamy. Remember, fastest in the qualifying session in that 20 machine. Currently running in fourth. Bart Hector has got himself into the top 5. I'm sure Greg Rentz would love to see Bart Hector up there in the top 5. Greg Rentz, of course, not with us here tonight on 3YT. We want to give a shout out to, he's with us in our hearts. Got to give a shout out to Mike Wood Race Designs. A lot of the cars that you see on the racetrack right now are painted by Mike Wood Race Designs. In fact, that number 82 is sporting Mike Wood on its rear decklet, so pretty cool to see that. Bart Hector currently running inside the top 5, but it's a couple car lengths back to Thomas O'Hara, who's running a Pontiac Grand Prix scheme, that number 77 Old Milwaukee beer throwback scheme. We saw that last week at Iowa as well. Going a little bit further back, this is Dylan Huffines and Seth Frazier, and Frazier's actually just got around that number 7 machine, so move Frazier now up into the 8th position. Not quite sure how that happened. I'm going to see if I can go back and see. It looks like Frazier just got underneath that number 7 machine.
Some slight contact with the 77 and 92 and 92.
Oh!
Bird is right on in there. No caution yet. 92 gets the worst end of the stick there, and he's going to be stuck there. Caution may come out. Caution is out now.
Yep, and that was just a little bit of contact there between the number 92 Casey Lynn and the number 77 of Josh Childress. And it's not been a great night for Josh Childress. Remember, made that contact with Ellie Musgrave a little bit earlier, and now contact with the number 92 of Casey Tillman. I think both of those drivers thought that they were clear. It was so close, and I think the spotters might have even said they were clear. But it goes back to that breaking point thing, Carlos, I mentioned earlier, that you have two drivers, their braking points might just be a little bit different. You have one coming down the racetrack, one driver holding his line, and you add those things together, and that's just contact at Martinsville. Oh, we have a car around on the backstretch, and it goes from bad to worse, unfortunately, for Ellie Musgrave in the number 23, and it goes even worse. That number 23 has just not had a good night. I don't know how that happened. I think the number 92 and the 76 came together.
I think I know what happened. Let's see if we can go back just a little bit more. I think Ellie's been having internet connections problems all night. Oh. Wait, I think you're right there.
Yeah, I think Casey Tillman and the 47 got together. 76, excuse me. got my numbers all mixed up. But the 92 came down, and the 76 was
wow.
right there. And Ellie Musgrave, unfortunately, got the bad end of the stick once again.
Ellie
That
Musgrave,
just has...
if her internet connection problems literally waited like half of a second, then she would have been okay. Unfortunately, though, that issue is just causing more damage to her already weakened vehicle. Just she wasn't even at the wrong place. She was exactly where she needed to be under caution, and
yeah, that is...
We've seen it happen in real life, unfortunately. But thankfully everybody's okay. It's only virtual racing, but it's just...
Well, the good news
it's not
for
your
Ellie...
night.
Yeah, the good news for Ellie is we still have the second of the two NorthWest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s left to go. So after this one, Ellie will have another shot at it. But then in this first one, man, seems like that number 23 has a Target on it, and it's not sponsored by Target. So maybe it should for this round and make more sense, kind of get it out of the way. But unfortunately for Ellie, I know we had Timothy Musgrave here in the chat on YouTube here on 3Wide TV, and definitely was saying, let's go girl early in the race, and it just seems like everything has been out to get that number 23 machine. But nonetheless, pace car lights are off. We'll have to see if Ellie can work her way back up through this field and get a good finish out of this one. There is the number 4 Shane Quinn. We talked to him just a little while ago, holding on to his tires. Cameron Doyle in second, pace car on pit road. Once again, we see that number 4 using that restart line way up there near the wall. You see everyone trying to fight wheel spin. And there's a big stack up through the field, rippled through the field, all the way from Joey Bird all the way back through Seth Frazier and Dylan Huffines. In fact, Huffines way up the racetrack doing battle with Brad Carpenter. Carpenter's going to go by, so move Carpenter up into 9th. But that was really an accordion effect from about 3rd place all the way back to around 10th.
Here's what happened, Peter. The 6th of Cameron Doyle knew exactly what Shane Quinn was trying to do. And so did the at the time third place of Joey Bird. Joey Bird stuck right behind the 6, and while the 6 timed that restart lane not perfectly, but okay enough, Joey Bird timed it just a little bit too early, and he had to back off of the 6 in order to not make contact. He clipped the little apron, and then almost got tapped from behind and just lost the spot as Nick Bellamy ended up going by him.
Yeah, so that does move Nick Bellamy now up into the 3rd position. I know I mentioned passing points, but Nick Bellamy was the fastest qualifier, so he started back at 13th. Well, he had the opportunity to maximize his number of passing points in that number 20 machine, and now him running 3rd, that's 10 passing points. He started in 13th as the cars who got sent to the back from last week. Yes, I guess it technically would be 16th, I believe, is where his passing points would start from. But Nick Bellamy currently running in the 3rd position. And wow, look at Cameron Doyle. Cameron Doyle up at the front, starting to show a nose to that number 4 of Shane Quinn, just a little bit there on the back stretch.
Well, we've never had a Tesla win a race before here with 3Wide TV, and so it'll be a first if this actually was to happen tonight. However, Shane Quinn is not going to let that happen, and he's been saving his tires because his dad told him to.
Yeah, well, now he has his dad in the back of his head, and I tell you what, once you have dad in the back of your head, you got to go out there and prove yourself. And Shane Quinn's doing just that. He got a little bit sideways there up off the corner, but he got some power down, and that number 4 machine was just pulling away from that number 6 Tesla Model S. And wow, look at Cameron Doyle now get loose coming out of turn number 2. 10 laps to go. Just 5 miles around the famed Martinsville Speedway in Martinsville, Virginia. Here for the first of the 2 NorthWest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s here in the NorthWest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. Boy, is that a mouthful. But for Shane Quinn, just 9 more laps to go. And one driver I want to highlight is Sean Brightsman. Remember, he was upside down earlier in this race in the number 46 machine. He's recovered himself up into the 14th position right there in front of the 911 of Adam Holm. Of course, Adam Holm did pay tribute last week with that paint scheme and kind of said wanted to raise awareness about the fires in Australia, and That was a pretty cool thing that Adam Holm did last week, and running that same paint scheme that we've seen him run all year long, working his way around this racetrack in 14th, right in front of your points leader, the 44 of Ryan Gormley. He's doing battle in the points table with Seth Frazier, and Seth Frazier is locked up in a fantastic battle. This is just outside the top 5, the 48 of Travis McKinney. There we go. McKinney's going to go to the inside here of Thomas O'Hara. That's a battle for 6, and I think McKinney's going to make it work. So that is 6th place for Travis McKinney in that number 48 machine. And that 48 machine, you see a lot of damage on that car. I think he's thinking what this race could have been if he didn't have that damage, but he's going to work his way up into 6th, and here comes Seth Frazier up into 7th. So O'Hara now sliding back into 8th position here with now just 5 laps to go, I believe.
Yep, not too many laps left. Unfortunately, though, for Cameron Doyle, he seems to be dropping back just slightly from Shane Quinn. Let's go on board with Cam and just see what type of difference he's taking on. If you take a look at the last couple of laps, the last lap time, it looks like he's a 10th off. He was a 10th off the last lap as well. So whatever Shane did, which I think we all know what he did, he saved his tires, and taking Daddy's advice, he's pulling away with those fresher tires compared to Cameron Doyle, Peter.
Yeah, so we'll see what this lap brings as well when they hit the stripe. Shane Quinn, 21.261 to Cameron Doyle's 21.342, so another 10th in hand for Shane Quinn, but with only 3 laps to go, it would really take a big mistake from that number 4 machine of Shane Quinn, and we've only really seen one major mistake out of Shane Quinn this year, and of course that was back at Watkins Glen with a pit road mishap. A speeding penalty on pit road took away that win from Shane Quinn, but he was able to back that up with a kind of resurgent race at Laguna Seca, and then of course won the Snowball Derby just 1 week later. And that Snowball Derby, of course it was the custom fab Snowball Derby, was a big win for Shane Quinn. He wasn't expecting it, but now coming to Martinsville, another very tricky racetrack. That number 4 machine kind of knows how to get it done around these tough racetracks, because he is now just one turn away from getting the checkered flag in the first of 2 Northwest Super Late Model Series Twin 100. Shane Quinn goes to victory lane in race number 1. And Carlos, I'm not too surprised, and I'll tell you why. We saw this number 4 machine very, very good on the road courses, and what is this racetrack like? It's like 2 hairpin corners on a road course. So Shane Quinn going to victory lane here in that number 4 machine. I'm sure he is absolutely ecstatic. I'm sure his dad is ecstatic there in the chat. We'll have to see if Dean makes a statement here, but that number 4 machine going to burn him down here on the front stretch for all the fans to see. What a good race, Carlos. We saw kind of a little bit of everything that Martinsville has to offer here in race number 1. I'm sure we'll see it again in race number 2.
Yeah, two things to note about. One, it appears that Joshua Beal had a hardware problem that should be fixed for the second race, so we should look for an improvement with Joshua Beal here in the second twin. And second, while these are twin races, there are technically 2 winners for throughout the night, so Shane Quinn is the first winner. However, officially in the points, it will go down as one race with both races getting averaged together, getting combined together, right, Peter?
Yes, I believe so. I'm pretty sure that is how tonight's races do go. It's kind of unlike what we saw at Laguna Seca and Watkins Glen when those were completely 2 separate races tonight. It is kind of your average finish, but let's go through the race results from the first of the races here tonight. Shane Quinn taking the win in the number 4 machine.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you had the hiccups there. Yeah, no, I guess I'll take over. Shane Quinn got the race win. Cameron Doyle finished second with Nick Bellamy third. Joey Bird had another strong run here in fourth with Bart Hector Jr. fifth. Seth Frazier finishing sixth. Travis McKinney in seventh. Thomas O'Hara will be finishing eighth. Brad Carpenter ninth. And Casey Garber in 10th there.
Yeah, in the 11th position, the number 7 of Dylan Huff finds the 27 of Josh Childress remember, was up near the front of the race at the beginning of the race and comes home 12th. Sean Breitzman, what a recovery for that number 46 machine, comes home 13th after being on its lid. Ryan Gormley 14th, Christopher Heim 15th, Adam Holm in the 911 machine. That 911 machine looked like it might have needed some tender love and care after the race, unfortunately for Adam, but comes home 16th. Brian Payne 17th, Brad Morrison 18th, Ellie Musgrave 19th, and Casey Tillman rounds out the top 20, Carlos.
Yeah, in 21st we have Josh Robinson, BJ Chidrick in 22nd, Travis Barnes in 23rd, Eric Shaney in 24th, and Joshua Beal, who had to leave early with hardware issues, should be back, of course, for the second twin tonight. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back as we vamp for the second server to come up.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Martinsville Speedway. We're going to have a quick interview with your runner-up from the first race. That would be the number 6 machine of Cameron Doyle. And Cameron Doyle, Peter Short here in the 3Y TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, Cameron coming home second in the first of the 2 NorthWest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s. How was that number 6 machine driving for you at the end?
It was a little squirrely. Right before that last caution, I kind of had it in a groove. I liked it, but then right after that, the car kind of just got a little slick on me.
Yeah, well, Martinsville Speedway is definitely one of those rhythm racetracks with the fact that it, just the laps tick by so quickly. In fact, a lot of short tracks are rhythm raceways, and sometimes the caution flag can kind of throw you out of your groove. But nonetheless, race number 2, you're going to be starting near the back due to an inversion. What's your plan to get through the field?
I'm just gonna try to follow the fast guys and try to make as many moves as I can, and then kind of just sit back and wait for openings to come and take them.
All right. Before we let you go, you got some shout-outs for us?
Shout out to the Super Late Model Series for sponsoring this, and just Seth and BJ for running it.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is your second place finisher here from the first race, and best of luck in race number 2, Cameron.
Thank you.
Oh, I moved myself down there.
Oh, Peter.
I moved myself.
It's the
down to
second
channel.
race. It's the second broadcast of the season. We're still ironing out all the issues here going on, Peter.
I tried to move Cameron back, and I moved myself. Anyway, I'm gonna go run down and see.
You did not have a good first broadcast last week. A couple verbal errors, and you okay, man?
I am. It is only 11:26 Central Time. Let me see if we can get a word though
for
with
you. It's 12:26 for me.
Well, either way, let's see if I can get a word with Shane Quinn, winner of the first of the 2 Twin 100s. And Shane, looked pretty good for you out there. I think you took your dad's advice, saved your tires, and were able to kind of zip away from it there at the end. How was that number 4 driving for you?
It was good. Sure, I was battling the same thing everybody else was, hot and slick, and just trying to get off the corner well.
It's kind of interesting, and I said this to Carlos here. We saw you do so well at the road course races, Laguna Seca and Watkins Glen, and this racetrack is kind of like 2 hairpin turns on each end of the racetrack. And was that kind of going through your mind when you took the checkered flag?
Oh, it goes through my mind every time I'm at Martinsville. I love it. It's fun. It's nice and tight, and I love tight racetracks. They're just a lot of fun for me.
Well, just getting word that your dad's going to shoot you some more advice. Says stay in the front just enough and save your equipment for race number 2. So hopefully you can use that advice. But before we let you go, you got some shout-outs?
Yeah, thanks to my dad for support and Vista Construction. It's my new paint scheme this week. I threw them on the hood. Thank them for the support, and everybody throwing this on. Got to thank my girlfriend as always, and everybody watching. I hope you keep enjoying watching the rest of the season. It's going to be fun.
All right. Well, best of luck in race number 2, Shane, and maybe we'll get to talk to you once again after it's all said and done.
Oh, yeah, man.
All right. Well, that is race winner from race number 1 of the 2 NorthWest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s here tonight. Go check them out, NWSLMS.com. And, of course, on Facebook, you can look up NorthWest Super Late Model Series as well. Give them a like. And very, very cool. So now it's kind of time for us to give some shout-outs of our own here kind of in this intermission. And really, NorthWest Super Late Model Series jumping on board, kind of highlighted them a couple times here tonight. It's not an iRacing league. It is a real super late model tour up in the northwest portion of the United States. They're going to go to 6 different racetracks. If you're located in Washington or Oregon, you're in prime location to go to one of the 6 events that they have going on this year. They start their season April 25th, the Leonard Evans 150 in Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, Wenatchee, Washington. That's quarter-mile racetrack. June 6th, they go to the South Sound Speedway in Tenino, Washington. Then they go back to South Sound Speedway for race number 3, the Miller 200. Sun City 125 is race number 4 on the season at Yakima Speedway in Yakima, Washington. That's a half-mile speedway. Hermiston Raceway, the Atomic 125, and September 6th is race number 5. And then they round out their 6-race season with the Neil Newberry 125 at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, the quarter-mile speedway that bookends the season. Both the first and the last race are located at the Wenatchee racetrack. And kind of interesting to note that the NorthWest Super Late Model Series, which started in 2014, was actually kind of a gathering of different racetrack promoters, and one of those promoters was actually the Wenatchee Valley Speedway. So pretty cool to see them, and of course they are one of these other sponsors of the Northwest Tour, the iRacing Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products here. So I've got to give a shout out to Joe's Racing Products, Northwest Super Late Model Series, Sargent's Place, Rustic Moon, Hermiston Raceway, Custom Fab, PFC Brakes, Pyrotech, Tidrix Quality Transmissions, Mike Wood Race Designs, Northwest Race Report, ShortTrackRacer.com. Go check them out. Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, Mission Valley Super Oval, and State Line Speedway. So a lot of good stuff here in the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products as we see Travis Barnes laying down some rubber there coming out of turn number 4. We saw quite a bit of that in race number 1 out of a lot of these drivers, but now they get clean race cars and they get to go back to work, and I'm sure Travis Barnes is hoping for a better race result in race number 2. That number 8 machine was pretty much stricken in the first lap, and that number 8 machine did not have a good finish in that one, but a clean race car here. And we'll be looking to finish this race up near the front. But my oh my, will we see Ryan Gordon move up through the field?
Peter, let's see. Would the rookie where is he? Gormley, he moved up. He was all the way at the back. Now he's set in a lap time. He's currently second fastest. Would Gormley be available for an interview? If not him, let's see if we can get Ellie Musgrave or Seth Frazier up to see if we can get a quick chat on how their first race went. Interesting to get their takes while we're still waiting.
Yeah, let's see if we get Ellie Musgrave up here. Ellie Musgrave, Peter Short in the 3-wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, Ellie, man, it looked like you had an absolute target on the front end of that number 23 machine in race number 1. Looks like in race number 2, you're probably going to be starting up near the front once again. Hoping for a little bit different result, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. We trying to hold on there and just got hit quite a few times. We're going to try and work on my lines and hopefully mix her up.
Well, what can you take from race number 1? What did you learn from that race that you could transfer over into race number 2?
Hello?
Ellie, let's try that one more time. I asked, what can you learn, or what can you use from what you learned in race number 1 and use that in race number 2 to your advantage?
I guess we lost her. We'll see if we can finish this up another time, I guess. Peter, do you have any word as to when the green flag will be coming out? Everybody should be getting settled in and getting green flag very, very soon. Peter, what are you seeing over there?
Well, this is an absolute disaster. We brought Ellie Musgrave into our channel.
Oh, there we go.
And Ellie Musgrave just fell out of the server.
Oh,
so,
no.
We just got a message from Timothy Musgrave that their power just went out.
Oh, no.
So, how on earth does that happen?
It's the ray gun. I gotta throw away this ray gun.
If you're just joining us on 3Y TV for the first time, I swear we don't have a ray gun. Maybe Carlos, I don't have it. But that is absolute heartbreak for Ellie Musgrave. I mean, there's just no words. I know that's something that we in sim racing have to deal with. We have to deal with power failures and everything and all this jazz, and it's just very, very, very tough luck for Ellie Musgrave here tonight in that number 23 machine. Like I said, race number 1 looked like she had a target on her back, and hopefully she can bounce back next week in the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. But once again, we're going back to the grid here, and let's go through the lineup for race number 2. It's going to look completely different because of the inversion. Adam Hall in the 911 machine will be starting on the pole. Christopher Heim to his outside in the 51 machine. Ryan Gormley will start P3. Remember, that 44 machine was pretty fast. Sean Brightsman rolled the number 46 machine in race number 1, but will be starting in 4th for this race. Josh Childress will be rolling off 5th. Dylan Huff finds 6th in row number 3. Casey Garber, Brad Carpenter make up row number 4. Thomas O'Hara, Travis McKinney, row number 5, rounding out your top 10. Seth Frazier, Bart Hector Jr., 11th and 12th on the grid. Joey Burt, Nick Bellamy, 13th and 14th. Cameron Doyle, Shane Quinn will be rolling off from 15th and 16th. Brian Payne and Brad Morrison will roll off from 17th and 18th. Ellie Musgrave, unfortunately, will not start in 19th, so that will bump Josh Robinson up to 19th. And then starting to his outside, Casey Tillman. Behind him will be Travis Barnes and BJ Tidrick. And rounding out your field here tonight, the 112 of Joshua Beal with pace car is off. We're going to get set to go back to green flag action here. Green flag for the first time in race number 2 of the Northwest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s. And Adam Hall leads the field to the green flag. Lots of wheel spin out back of that number 911 machine, but he's able to...
Oh, no!
Contact! There are cars everywhere, and the 911's around and up into
No
the outside
caution.
wall. No caution. Can you believe this? And Brightsman's around, and caution finally thrown. And what a crazy start to this race. And Sean Brightsman got to be thinking, my oh my, second time in a row that I've been caught out on the first lap. And I don't exactly know what happened there at the start of this race. We're going to have to see from a helicopter cam. It looked like the 911 machine just pushed up the racetrack into the side of Christopher Heim. And in all this chaos, it's actually given the race lead to Ryan Gormley in the 44 machine. Let's see this from the helicopter cam. You saw the 911 just wasn't able to get the power down,
corner.
And then just overshot the corner, pushed up into Christopher Heim, excuse me. And look at BJ Tidrick there, coming to a complete stop, as well as the 26 of Brad Morrison up there. But we are caution now.
Yeah, we've got a quick update
Carlos?
that the Musgrave household appears to have power back on, and as a matter of fact, as the Ellie Musgrave is on track, 2 laps down now. 2 or 3 laps down. This may not be the end of the world for Ellie. Very, very early on in the race. It's actually, I don't know if am I seeing this correctly? This is 87 laps for this race, Peter. I don't know if I'm having an issue with ATVO or if you're also getting 87 laps, but this could be a shorter race than usual. No, I think I'm having an issue because it's moving around.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with ATVO, but it is a 100-lap race here tonight. So we are working. We are working lap number 4, so that is correct. So the left-hand side of the backslash there, or the forward slash, whichever one that is.
Let me go ahead and drop some knowledge on you all here. ATVO has a tendency when restarted, when the race goes green, or after a race goes green, to be a little wonky for the first couple laps. It'll show that secondary number a little bit incorrect. What's a little bit strange though is that I did restart ATVO, but I restarted it before the race went green, so I'm not sure why we're having this issue. Nonetheless, it should settle out within the next 5 or so minutes, especially once these drivers start going green. It should show 100 laps just in a little bit. So we do apologize for this issue. This is something that's a little bit out of our control. Now, something we haven't mentioned, Peter, at least I don't believe we have with my short-term memory loss. Everything's a little bit wonky. The race, the whole race weekend here tonight got pushed back an hour and a half compared to normal, as we are back 1 to green. And one of the things that the management did decide to do was shorten the time limit. So instead of having a full hour to complete this race, the drivers have 45 minutes.
Yeah, and I wonder if ATVO is doing some type of calculation to kind of forecast the race based off of the time length. So I think that 78 laps is based off of the current lap prediction based on a 50-minute race. But we're back to green flag racing, and that outside group just did not go. And there's carnage in the back. It looked like we had the 20 of Nick Bellamy in the inside wall, as well as the 48 of Travis McKinney. And that outside group just did not go. It looked like Josh Childress maybe was in the wrong gear or something. And my oh my, really stacked up that outside groove, and there was contact there. We're going to have to see if we can see this replay once again.
Watch. The 20.
I think the 77 of Childress just didn't go, and you have the 20 in the inside wall there with the 48 of Travis McKinney. So let's see this. This is where the 20 is. You see he's on the outside groove, fourth car in line.
75
and
go.
Well, the 77 didn't go, and that's what led to the stack up. And unfortunately, looks like the 20 just had to go down the racetrack to avoid running someone else over and got into the side of Travis McKinney. Both of those cars now running near the back of the field. McKinney is 21st, and he is on pit road, unfortunately, for the 48 of Travis McKinney. Ellie Musgrave on the racetrack, 3 laps down, currently being scored in the 24th position. Looks like the power came back on for Ellie Musgrave. Timothy Musgrave saying that they're back online, so good for them. And gotta say, Ellie Musgrave still putting up a fight here at Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah, it's a little bit early, but she might be an early contender for the Mama in Race No Quitter Award, which is coming back once again for 2020. Unfortunately, though, for Ellie, she is not the first car 1 or more laps down. There are 2 drivers that are currently 1 or more laps down. That's the 51 of Christopher Heim and the down 911 vehicle of Adam Hom, which, of course, we saw getting involved in that lap 1, turn 1 incident.
But back up at the front, looks like the number 44 of Ryan Gormley has got himself up to 3/4 of a second race lead over Casey Garber. Casey Garber being worked over by the 32 of Seth Frazier. And looks like Frazier might have been poking a nose to the inside of Casey Garber there coming out of turn number 4. And we saw this from Seth Frazier. Frazier was pretty quick in race number 1. As we're getting reports that Travis McKinney has... Well, he came back out to the racetrack, but now he's going back home pit road.
Yeah, and at this moment, it appears Travis McKinney has gone from being 23rd, a couple laps down, to being the last driver on the track, as Ellie Musgrave has finally been able to go by Travis. As Travis is now finding himself 5 laps down with whatever ailment his car is experiencing. It doesn't appear to get any better.
Another driver we're going to have to keep an eye on is the 20 of Nick Bellamy, trying to work his way back up through the field after that heavy contact with that 48 of Travis McKinney. And Bellamy had worked his way up pretty quickly there to around the 8th to 10th spot on the outside. Oh, contact down the backstretch. Travis Barnes and the number 7 machine, Dylan Huffines, were beating and banging off of each other. And now we're 3 wide and still beating and banging off of each other. Right in the middle of the field, they get it all sorted out, but watch this. Travis Barnes and Dylan Huffines beating and banging. You can see they made that contact, and Casey Tillman took it 3 wide there in turn number 3 and 4. They got it all sorted out, though. They're still...
Oh, no!
Casey Tillman and, Ellie Musgrave, and 92's going to save it. Fantastic save there by Casey Tillman. We're still green here at Martinsville. See this from the helicopter can. Ooh, Casey Tillman caught the wall there. Then, just a little bit of contact there. Not really sure who to point the finger on. I don't think you really point the finger on any of them. Oh, but Tillman's now doing burnouts out of turn number 2.
How did this happen?
Well, this is interesting.
The 02.
Let's go.
Okay, I see what happened. Go back just a little bit. Let's go back just a little bit more. It seemed like what happened was trying to recover the 92, the 112, not the 02, apologize. The 112 made some contact. Yes. 92 was just trying to whip it around, whipping around.
Yeah, to play some, you spin me right, baby, right round to that. Unfortunately for that machine, it goes from bad to worse for Casey Tillman. He's now the last car on the, as I say that, he's now fallen 1 lap down. He was the last car on the lead lap, the lap prior, but now Casey Tillman running in 20th spot. First car 1 lap down. Now we have 19 cars on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap would be Brad Morrison as they run in the number 26 machine. He's trying to work his way up through the field as wow. We just had Brian Payne get really loose coming out of the corner. There he is right in front of the number 26 of Brad Morrison, but Brian Payne definitely struggling right now in that number 74 machine, but we are getting close to the quarter way distance here in the second of the 2 Northwest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s, NWSLMS.com.
It's gonna happen
But-
sometime. That's hard acronym to pronounce, but Peter's up to the challenge.
I am up to the challenge. Meanwhile, Travis Barnes and Brad Carpenter going side by side right here in the center of your screen. That is a battle for the 9th position. Carpenter getting the outside wall there a couple of times, just kind of ping-ponging off that outside wall. He's going to slide back to the 10th position. Travis Barnes up to 9th, and this race is going much better for Travis Barnes than race number 1. Unfortunately for Sean Brightsman, it's kind of like race number 1 for him in the 46 machine. Still stuck back there in the 14th position. Remember, he finished 13th in race number 1 in that Federated Auto Parts 46. And there is race number 1 winner, the 4 machine of Shane Quinn. And ladies and gentlemen, he's worked his way back up into the top 5. Shane Quinn definitely showing us how it's done here at Martinsville. Started this race back in 16th, Carlos, from 16th to 5th. Very, very impressive.
Yeah, he's listening to the advice his father gave him, telling him to, get up front quickly, but also taking care of that vehicle, saving his equipment, and that's exactly what he's doing. I'm not seeing a scratch on this beautiful race car, and with a quarter of the race ending and him being in the top 5, you can actually kind of take it a little bit easy now that he's not really pressured, being surrounded by vehicles who at any point make some contact and ruin his race. He's gotten out of that danger zone, and he's now in the little comfort zone as he's going to try to chase down these leaders.
And one thing we have missed, Carlos, is Seth Frazier. Frazier's gotten around Casey Garber, moved up into the 2nd position, and over the last 5 laps, Seth Frazier's been very, very quick out there. In fact, Seth Frazier on average has been the really 3rd or 2nd fastest car. In fact, looking at the last 5 laps, interestingly so, Sean Brightsman has been the fastest car on the racetrack all the way back to the 14th position. Oh, Josh Childress hard in the inside wall. That's the 77 machine of Josh Childress, and looks like he's going to be able to keep that number 77 super late model running. Well, let's see what happened here. Oh, just got loose coming out of the corner. And heavy contact with the outside wall, and then bounce straight across the racetrack into the safer barrier on the inside of the track. So getting both sides of that number 77 machine, maybe trying to balance things out, but we're back under the caution flag here in the 2nd of the 2 Northwest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s.
And we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break as we're going to go ahead and give some airtime to our fantastic sponsors, because we don't know what the next caution might be. And we'll be right back for the next restart.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Martinsville Speedway. Pace car lights are off, and you haven't missed anything. And because the green flag is now out on the racetrack, and wow, look at Seth Frazier unable to get a great restart. Ryan Gormley skips away just a little bit, but Gormley gets sideways in turn number 1, skidding those rear tires, laying down just a little bit of rubber. And that number 44 machine of Ryan Gormley will hold on to the race lead. Casey, oh wow, whoa, Joey Bird in the number 24 machine going all the way down the racetrack, going underneath the curbing down there, and that's going to push him up the racetrack. And here comes Shane Quinn. Here he comes, that number 4 machine, your race winner from the first of the 2 Northwest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s. Shane Quinn now P4 for the number 4 machine. What a great race this has been for him, from 16th to 4th in 35 laps. What can he do as he gets sideways coming out of the corner out of turn number 4? So wow, what can Shane Quinn do? Can he get another checkered flag here in the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products? As this is some good action a little bit further back. There's Dylan Huffines underneath Thomas O'Hare and the number 75 machine. This is a battle for the 9th position, and Huffines gets really sideways coming out of the corner. I thought he was going to clear him, unable to do so just yet, but I think that inside groove is working pretty good for most of the field. That outside groove just not able to come in just yet, as Travis McKinney in the number 48 machine is finding himself right in front of your race leaders. He's multiple laps down, as looks like Sean Brightsman and that 46 machine looks like he was starting to make a move on that group. So move Brightsman now into the top 10. Remember, he was spun around on lap number 1 in that number 46 machine. In fact, here he's going for the 9th position underneath Dylan Huffines. And I mentioned just not too long ago, Carlos, that number 46 machine was the fastest car on average on the racetrack under that green flag run that we had, which is very, very impressive from the 46 of Brightsman.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm taking a look at from Joe Realtime over there. Very consistent 5, 10, 15 lap averages for the 46. So it's pretty much a matter of luck at this point. He has the skill. He just needs to be in a good position to be able to get there at the end. And I'd say pretty confidently is if we go green, he would be in a good position, nice, clean, less drivers to worry about, as he's currently trying to catch up to the 31 of Brad Carpenter, who is, give or take, about 1 second away from him.
Let's keep our eyes on the number 6 machine of Cameron Doyle. Remember, he was runner-up in race number 1 in the 6 Tesla super late model.
There was a change for 3rd place, as Casey Garber has relinquished that position to allow Shane Quinn to go by. Shane Quinn is pretty much within a couple car lengths from this possible battle for the race lead, Peter. I'm not quite sure exactly what lap this happened on, but the 32, Seth Frazier, definitely will not be making it easy, as his sights are set on the race lead.
Yeah, I just went back and watched the replay, and Shane Quinn got a fantastic run on Casey Garber coming out of turn number 4, just dove it to the inside, and turn number 1 made it stick. And Shane Quinn now closing in on your 2 race leaders, the 44 of Gormley and the 32 of Seth Frazier. And Frazier, I was mentioning it under that green flag run, he was a little bit faster than Gormley, and Gormley's sliding up the racetrack in the corners quite a bit. Frazier really keeping it tucked to the inside of the racetrack, hugging that yellow line down there, that curb that's down there. I'm kind of interested to see whether or not that will burn off the rear tires of the 44 machine of Gormley. Usually when you let the car slide like he's doing right there, it eats through those tires. And here comes Seth Frazier coming out, turn number 4. Oh, Gormley in the outside wall, contact with the 4 of Shane Quinn. And Shane Quinn's got around, and big wreck, more cars piling in. There's a 3 or 4 cars stopped on the front straightaway right now, still having accidents, still bumping and banging with one another. Oh my, and Gormley got a little bit sideways there, hit the wall, and look at Cameron Doyle, and Brad Carpenter getting involved. The 24 machine involved. That's a lot of really fast race cars there, Carlos, involved in this accident, including your race winner from race number 1, the 4 machine of Shane Quinn. We'll have to see how this all shakes out, but this has actually put a real spin on this field, because Seth Frazier, your new race leader, 2nd place Travis Barnes, then you have Brad Carpenter and Sean Brightsman.
This is just a series of unfortunate events there for a lot of these drivers. The 24, the 6, the 4. It's just you were pretty much calling it right there, seeing the 44 just go wider and wider and wider and killing his tires. Unfortunately, the 44 did not have his father there to tell him to save his tires, son. Because that would have been some pretty helpful advice for the rookie, which he's just not having a good night tonight. Currently 1 lap down as he's currently in pit road. As Peter, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, I gotta say for the 44 machine, Ryan Gormley just that got a little bit too loose there, and unfortunately the number 4 machine, Shane Quinn, had nowhere to go, and that number 4 is all the way back now in the 10th position. So luckily still inside the top 10, but unfortunately the number 44 machine of Ryan Gormley has been shown the black flag here and has been disqualified from this event here tonight. So that is very, very tough luck for the number 44 machine of Gormley. I do believe he's down there. We'll see if we can get him up here. But yeah, he's been shown the black flag. Was that his second accident here tonight,
that would have been
Carlos?
his second accident, yes. Yeah, he did not.
Okay, let's just move him. Let's move him into the waiting room here for just a brief moment. Let's bring him in. Number 44, Ryan Gormley. This is Peter Short in a 3-wide TV booth. I know that's not what you wanted to have happen, but kind of talk us through what just happened there.
Yeah, real hot track, hot tires, just lost it. I don't know.
Well, you're definitely putting on a good show up there. You had a lot of pace here tonight. You showed it in qualifying session and practice session. But, you know, a tough night here, kind of from a point standings. You came into tonight as the points leader. How are you going to bounce back next week?
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad that we get a couple of races to
drop weeks.
To throw away, so I'm pretty excited about that. But I'm just gonna refocus next week. Go from there and just chop this one up for a loss.
All right. Well, hopefully best of luck next week at Irwindale. But we're back to Green Flag Racing. Carlos, take it away.
Yeah, green flag's back out as a 32. The brand new leader, Seth Frazier, is trying to pull away from Travis. Travis Barnes in the 8 machine, though. Drove it in there a little bit too deep and is not getting the great run up that the 32 did have. And so that's something you were talking about there, Peter. The type of run throughout the corner that Seth Frazier has. However, it seems like the 8 is trying to adjust. And something that I personally do notice myself is that I tend to have an easier time following the race leader, especially when I'm faster than said race leader. What's going on there, Peter? Are you okay?
Man, I am okay, but it looked like your second place driver, Travis Barnes, just clipped the curbing in turn number 1 and 2. Gave me a little bit of a heart attack because it kicked that number 8 machine completely sideways as he's trying to follow Seth Frazier around the racetrack. And Carlos, you're right. Going back to what you were saying, you know, sometimes following the leader is a little bit faster, a little bit better. You can kind of follow what he's doing, follow his cues, and then once you get out front, it's kind of a completely different story.
It's harder for me. I'm not a championship contending driver, so when I get the race lead, it's all like my knees all wobble and my arms all moving around, and I usually end up wrecking myself. But yeah, Travis Barnes might be in a good position. I also not only find it easier, but I find it easier to save tires and save my equipment just following what the driver is doing, kind of like the main character in Initial D. But going on, seeing what else is going on, Peter, anything else that's catching your eye?
The number 46, Sean Brightsman. He's catching my eye because I'll tell you what, Brightsman has flipped in race number 1, spun around in race number 2, and this guy has gotten through the accidents and he is moving in on these 2 race leaders. That Federated Auto Parts Chevy Super Late Model is closing in on both Seth Frazier and Travis Barnes up the front, already running in the 3rd position. What a story this could be if Sean Brightsman can get his number 46 the victory reign in the 2nd of the 2 NorthWest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s. And, my lifetime in scoring says that at number 46, he's been very consistent, very quick, and I won't be at all surprised to see if he can get his 46th victory lane in race number 2. But that's not going to do it. He's in the outside wall there just a little bit on the front stretch, kind of scrubbing off some speed. But if those two leaders kind of get racing, I think Sean Brightsman's going to fill the door.
Yeah, I think you may be a little bit wrong. I think Sean Brightsman is quick, but I don't know if he might be able to have that speed to win the race. Based off his last couple of 10-lap and 15-lap averages, he's actually slower than the two drivers in front of him, and those two drivers are kind of battling each other. So, kind of speaks to me that maybe Sean, he has what it takes to maybe get a win, but the other drivers, they're definitely not going to make it easy for him at all.
Well, over the, I remember he was also doing battle, though, with Ed Carpenter, so he's gotten free of Carpenter, and he's closed in on these guys, and over the last 5 laps, he's about 3/100ths of a second faster than Travis Barnes and Seth Frazier, so that doesn't sound like much, but if these two leaders get racing with one another, I think Brightsman's there, and you can see physically he's closing. Look at Travis Barnes trying to get a run coming out of turn number 4 underneath Seth Frazier, unable to do so. Those two race leaders very tight. Look at this. Barnes underneath the 32 here, coming out of turn number 1 and 2, and unable to do anything just yet as he was pinched down there on the inside of the racetrack. And it looks like Frazier's just showing a little bit of the door to Travis Barnes, and here comes Barnes this time. A little bit better run, unable to do anything just yet. This is a good battle for the race lead with now 39 laps to go in the second of the 2 Northwest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s.
Maybe a little bit hard to hear, but when I was on board 32, I could hear him sliding his rear tires up a bit, and based on how much ground he's giving off in the inside and the exit of the corners, I think he may be experiencing the same type of deal that rookie sensation Ryan Gormley was also dealing with, and well, we saw what happened there. I think the 32 may have shot his tires, and this could either go the 8th way or the 46's way.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, those two race leaders, the 32 and the 8, are definitely adding quite a bit of slip angle to their race cars, especially on entry and through the center of the corner. And I've noticed it more in turn number 3 and 4, so I don't know if 3 and 4 there's just a little bit less grip than there is 1 and 2. But Sean Brightsman is there in that Federated Auto Parts machine. But here comes Barnes once again, trying to get that inside groove working, unable to do so. Just lit up those rear tires just a little bit. Oh, Seth Frazier way up the racetrack here. And Barnes on that curbing, getting sideways. This is a great battle out of these front 3. They have broken away from the new 4th place driver. That's the number 20 machine of Nick Bellamy. He has just recently passed the number 31 of Brad Carpenter, but your race leaders are pretty much 4 seconds clear of the number 20 of Bellamy. But this is really where we're going to watch, because this is the battle for the race win between these 3.
Yeah, these 3 drivers, it's kind of reminding me a little bit of that Watkins Glen 2012 finish, and all those drivers were slipping and sliding all the way around, and of course there's no actual oil on the track here in Martinsville, but with the 131 degree track temperature that these drivers are facing, it might as well be oil on the track.
Do you want to highlight Shane Quinn has worked his way up into the 9th position after restarting back in 10th. There he is. They're battling just in front of him. That's Bart Hector trying to get back up into the top 5. I'm sure Kathy in the chat would be excited to see that number 82 once again up there near the top 5. And that would be the 6th position if he's able to clear the number 7 of Dylan Huffines coming out of turn number 2. Unable to do so just yet. Back up the front, nothing has changed. Although, as I say that, Seth Frazier in the outside wall, battle for the race lead. Here comes Travis Barnes to the inside of Seth Frazier through turn number 1 and 2. And unable to get the power down. Frazier holding him off around the outside group, but Barnes is going to have another stab at it here in turn number 3 and 4. And look at Brightsman. Brightsman's trying to figure out what's going to happen with these 2 right in front of him. He's going to see what line's working a little bit better here, and I think Brightsman will be able to get one of these positions if he's close enough. Unable to do so just yet. Barnes pulls side by side with Frazier here coming down the backstretch. Off into turn number 3 now, and you can see, Barnes washes up the racetrack, almost contact, very, very tight between those 2 coming out of turn number 4, but I think Barnes has done just enough. That almost hip check has got himself almost, no. Here
Oh,
comes
that drive
Frazier.
in from the 32 of Seth Frazier. Seth Frazier pretty much had lost that battle and just gave it one last hurrah there as he drove it in there deep and he actually stuck, and now he's trying to recover, trying to bring that battle to almost a stalemate. As now the edge kind of goes into the 32. That 32, he's playing that fine art of pinching the driver down on the inside. Of course, as the laps continue to wind down, that fine art becomes more and more finer as one of those drivers, something's gonna have to give. As now the 8 had the advantage and got loose. Peter, what is the 46 seeing, and what do these drivers need to do to win this race?
Well, the 46 is kind of hoping they don't wad it up right in front of him right now because they are oh so close. And I'll tell you what, Carlos, the more Travis Barnes runs that bottom groove, he's going to wear his tires out.
Caution.
Oh, caution. And it looks like Seth Frazier was ahead. And BJ Tidrick's gone around in the 72 Trans Am super late model. It looked like Seth Frazier was in the race lead. My goodness, we'll have to see if we can go back and get another view of that one. But there was definite contact there between the 112 machine and the 72. Oh, the 112 looked like he might have gotten to the back bumper. Shane Quinn checked up a little bit, and when he checked up, there was nowhere for the 72 to go. Let's see if we can maybe see that one from the helicopter cam. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, that's an interesting one because the 112 got into the back of Shane Quinn. Quinn saved it, but then the 112 had connection issues, blinked out, and then Tidrick didn't know what to do, and he got ran over from the back by O'Hara in the 75 machine, and unfortunately, looks like Tidrick got the worst end of it in the number 72. So that one's kind of an interesting one. But let's see if we can dial up the number 32 machine. That would be Seth Frazier, your current race leader. Seth Frazier, this is short here on the 3Y TV booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Fantastic racing here for the race lead in the second of the two NorthWest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s. Pinching down that number 8 machine, is that kind of your strategy when he was on your inside?
That's about all you can do on the outside here at Martinsville. You got to run them tight and risk getting spun. It's about your only option.
Well, you did a fantastic job of it, holding off that number 8 machine and getting a break here with this caution flag. You'll be the race leader when we go back to green flag here in a lap or two. What's your strategy from here on out? It seems like the racetrack very, very slick. You're kind of washing up a little bit. You think you're going to back up your corners, or you're still going to see if you can hold off that number 8 machine with sheer willpower?
Well, I think the option of back corners just kind of got out the window with somebody breathing down your neck, so I'm just going to hang it out there and see what happens.
All right. Well, best of luck, Seth. I'm sure we'll go green flag here in just a little bit, but hopefully we get to talk to you after this race is all said and done.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, that is the number 32 machine. Got Mike Wood Race Designs on the hood. And Mike Wood has been in the chat here.
Oh, yeah. I got some good
Carlos?
news. We got a lucky dog there, and that is the number 21 of Ellie Musgrave, who is now finding herself 2 laps down.
Yeah, the 23 of Musgrave. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
down
sorry.
2 laps down.
I have, yeah.
Well, maybe Ellie can work her way back onto the lead lap after that power issue where she lives at the beginning of the race.
No!
But oh no! And
Caution is out.
No caution.
Now it's out.
And my oh my, that was a really slow restart there. And oh my goodness, the 46 of Brightsman
just miscalculated.
Man, well, yeah, but there was no way for that 46 machine to get in there. It was just so stacked up.
Oh, there was a checkup by the 32.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. That was an interesting restart there, kind of a little bit of mind games. I think Frazier was waiting for the green flag to come out. It hadn't been thrown yet, and the 46 of Brightsman might have just been given a little bit too much and got into the outside of Travis Barnes. And here we go. This is on board with Travis Martins and trying to follow right behind Seth Frazier. There's where he closed in and might have made contact with the back bumper of Seth Frazier. So very, very interesting. But that's going to put Travis Barnes all the way back to 17th. Brightsman all the way back to 18th after running second and third. That is absolute heartbreak. But Nick Bellamy now, remember, he was your fast qualifier here at the beginning of the night. Now Nick Bellamy will be in the second position as we have 20 laps to go here in the second of the two Northwest
This
quick
caution should also give Ellie Musgrave another wave for it. Oh, hold on. I'm seeing Ellie Musgrave is in the garage, so something must have happened since that caution came out.
Oh,
that should have been.
Ellie Musgrave just fell out of the server again. More connection issues.
So yeah, unfortunately, this also brings another issue in that if the race leader Seth Frazier took the green flag, like if he crossed the start-finish line and then the caution came out before anybody else did, this could cause some serious issues with timing and scoring. As anybody that's been in iRacing long enough can tell you that. Based on how everybody was trying to catch up, I don't think that Seth Frazier actually took the start-finish line before the caution came out, just because everybody's kind of staying around in there. But usually, if the leader or a couple drivers take the past the start-finish line and the caution comes out, the other drivers would then pretty much end up being at the tail end of the field, and almost a lap down.
Yeah, it looks like Sean Brightsman is being put one lap down in the 46 machine.
Getting some word from Timothy Musgrave saying that the snow there must be killing the power. And Timothy, you don't have to apologize for that, man. It's mother nature there. Unfortunately, it's just not meant to be tonight. But Peter, sorry about that. You may go on.
Well, pace car lights are off. Pace car is on pit road. So the race once again in the hands of the number 32 of Seth Frazier. A little bit better restart this time. And it looks like Bellamy is going to lose about half a car length on that number 32 machine as Frazier got a good restart there. But now it's going to be interesting to see what Nick Bellamy can do. Remember that number 20, fastest qualifier, as he saved enough stuff to close in on Seth Frazier to get the win here in the second of the two twin 100s here tonight. And what about Bart Hector Jr.? Now running in fourth position. Brad Carpenter, winner at Iowa Speedway. He's now third. But whoa, look at Bart Hector. Hector diving it down to the inside. And I thought Hector was going to make the pass. Oh! And well, Hector does make the pass here because Carpenter got way loose coming out of the corner. And he got shuffled back. Oh, almost contact between Carpenter and Hector. No. And now contact between Carpenter and Cameron Doyle. And remember, Doyle finished up there in second position in race number 1. Can Doyle come away with the overall victory tonight with the highest average finish? Because he's inside the top 5. We can't rule out Shane Quinn. Shane Quinn's in the 7th position. Cameron Doyle getting nudged out the way by Brad Carpenter. This is good racing, good hard racing here with only 13 laps to go, 12 laps to go this time up.
Oh, careful with that fine. Oh, that was... I'm losing my words here. As the 7 car just pretty much resting that car on the edge of the 6 is 6 is trying to hold the 7 down. Almost got turned around. Thankfully, nothing bad happened. No caution is out. As Seth Frazier is actually pulling away from Nick Bellamy. Is about 8/10 of a second, almost 9/10 of a second behind Nick Bellamy. Is from Seth Frazier. As I had to channel my inner Yoda there because I could not figure out the words to this sentence. Peter, help me out here.
Well, I'll tell you what. Seth Frazier said he was going to let it all hang out. Well, he's letting it all hang out now with only 10 more laps to go, just 5 more miles here. And that number 32 is checking out, already up to a 1 second lead. Bart Hector in third, Brad Carpenter in fourth. But we got this fantastic train of cars from fourth place all the way back to the 9th position or so. Is almost contact back there between O'Hara and Joey Bird in the number 24 machine. There's your race leader, Seth Frazier. There's Joey Bird in the number 24 machine, working his way through turn number 1 and 2. Thomas O'Hara right in front of him. Winner from race number 1, Shane Quinn, worked his way all the way up towards the front, got involved in a little bit of contact, but trying to recover here. Sean Brightsman in the 46 machine shown 2 laps down. Well, it looks like Brightsman's night's going to be an 18th place finish after a 13th place finish. I know that's not what Brightsman wanted coming into tonight. I believe 5th place in points, if memory serves me correctly. There's Casey Garber in the 96 running in 14th. Another good gaggle of cars. And there's the Dial 911 machine, Adam Holmes, poking his nose to the inside of Josh Robinson. That's a battle for 16th. Right there on the center of your screen. But looking back,
well, sorry to cut you off there. We completely cut to the 4 Shane Point. It was almost about to turn to 7. Just the closest we can get, and that's playing a very dangerous game, especially this late into the race, considering how a little bit unreliable iRacing has been tonight with the net code. I'm sure iRacing is pretty much is preparing for the Daytona 24 Hours next week, so I'm sure the majority of the servers are pretty much being configured for that one race only. That's why around this time and about a week after that, we're usually experiencing higher net code than usual. So it's a dangerous game to kind of pinch people down and to get right behind their bumpers, because the net code is showing out here tonight in full blast.
yeah, but there's now only 4 more laps to go, 2 more miles, and look at Cameron Doyle trying to get around Brad Carpenter here. You're not missing anything up at the front. Bellamy now 2 seconds behind Seth Frazier. Bart Hector half second behind Bellamy essentially, but Brad Carpenter.
That might be a block actually.
Turn number 4. It might have been a blocking. Cameron Doyle having some connection issues. Comes Doyle underneath the 31. Oh, there's contact.
The net code actually helped.
And those 2 cars bounce off of one another. Can Cameron Doyle get the 4th position from Carpenter coming out of turn number 4? Just 2 more laps to go for Seth Frazier up the front.
Seeing this battle side by side between the 31 and the 6, it's going to go to the advantage for the 31 of Brad Carpenter, as overcooks the corner just a little, allowing the 6 to get back down, as we are currently on the last lap. As Peter, I'm going to go ahead and let you take this finish away.
Yep, Seth Frazier coming out of turn number 2. The battle for the 4th position is still on behind him. He's going to sail off into the sunset in that number 32 machine, and Seth Frazier takes win number 1 of the season for him in the second of the 2 NorthWest Super Late Model Series Twins 100, and looks like Brad Carpenter holds on to 4th. Cameron Doyle came home 5th. Dylan Huffine 6th, Shane Quinn 7th. So that gaggle of cars didn't really change position there on the last lap, but that man right there, 32, Seth Frazier, getting to victory lane here, and that's fantastic for him. Of course, has Mike Wood Race Designs on the hood. And I mentioned it earlier, Mike Wood has quite a few cars in this field. In fact, looks like Mike Wood's designs are going to finish 1, 2, 3 here tonight at Martinsville in the second of these 2 races. Very, very cool as they are going to park here on the front stretch. But we're going to step away here for just a brief moment, have a commercial or 2 while we bring in your top 3 finishers from the second of the 2 races. But in the meantime, go check out NWSLMS.com in the meantime. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. We have come to the conclusion of the two Northwest Super Late Model Series Twin 100s, and we're going to talk to your top three finishers from this second race here briefly. The first of which is driver of the number 82 machine, Bart Hector Jr.
I need to do.
And there he is, Bart Hector Jr. We brought him in with a hot mic, and Bart.
Sorry.
Hopefully, yeah, it's all right. Hopefully, you have a copy here. Sounds like you do. So, tell us a little bit about your night in that number 82 machine, coming out of it with two very good finishes in both race number 1 and race number 2.
Man, this was one of the toughest races that we've done all year. Just the track temp being so hot, the cars were so loose, and is basically who was the better driver tonight, man. So I'll take a 5th and a 3rd from where I started both times. So I'm happy.
Yeah, and that average finish of 4th position is looking pretty darn good for you. You might come away with the most points on the night once this is all said and done. We'll have to see tomorrow once the points are tallied. But tell us a little bit about your second race. It looks like you stayed out of trouble, got up there solidly inside the top 5, and you're able to make a move there on Brad Carpenter right at the end. Tell us a little bit about it.
I was like, man, I need another podium. I knew I was faster than Brad, so I just had to work on him. And then he just got loose off the corner, and that was all it took to get 3rd. So, but at the start of the race, I got trained a couple times, and I fell back to like 13th, 14th, and it was just a matter of picking people off, like with Dylan Huffines and then Doyle. So just trying to pick them off while keeping the tires on at the same time.
Well, absolutely great finish for you in that number 82 machine here tonight. Before we let you go, you got any shout-outs for us?
Thank you to Andy Fuller for the computer. Makes it that much easier to race. And then Greg Rentz for letting me run his scheme.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, Greg not here tonight. Hopefully he's next week at Irwindale. That's where we go next week here in the Northwest, represented by Joe's Racing Products. But best of luck at Irwindale, Bart.
Hey, thank you guys. Have a good night.
All right. Well, I believe that Mr. Carlos Acosta has caught up with the fastest man in qualifying and coming home with the second place finisher, Nick Bellamy.
Well, Nick Bellamy definitely had a lot to work for tonight. Definitely up and down type of night. But before we do continue, how about you go ahead and give us your thoughts on how the night went overall?
Oh, I thought it was excellent. And Martinsville is a short track. Roller coasters are to be expected. The first race was a lot more in my favor than the second one, all the way up there until the end. So I was pretty fortunate. I very much enjoy racing here. I was fast time, and I was looking forward. I had this one marked on the calendar. 2 podiums will be real well.
Oh, that's true. Definitely one of the best points performances of the night. Good for you, especially in this championship type of battle for you here throughout the year. Pardon me, as this, we're more than halfway done. But Nick, getting yourself 2 podiums overall, definitely being the fastest. Just what was the biggest challenge for you tonight in general?
I would say patience. Any run longer than 3 laps, you really had to wait to get on it off the corner, and that's where a lot of people kind of dynamited their throttle and get loose, and you could just get underneath of them. Just waiting for them to make that mistake was the hard part.
That's true, and well, you definitely benefited very well tonight, finishing in 2 podiums here overall. Before we do let you go, do you have any shout-outs?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my sponsor, QPM. Shane Quinn runs that business. He won the first race, so I'm pretty proud of him on that. I was really hoping I could get a W here. Fell short with the W, but I'm sure I took the points, the most points out of this race.
It was definitely a very fun battle watching all these drivers going on, especially those last couple laps. But thank you so much, Nick, and we do hope you have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
Well, take care, bud. Thanks.
I believe Peter has caught on to the race winner, Seth Frazier. Peter, are you there?
I am. I'm down in victory lane with driver of the number 30 machine, Seth Frazier. And Seth, you got out front there towards the end, but you definitely showed that you had a lot left in the tank. You kind of said that you had to hang it all out to get the checkered flag. You definitely did. Tell us a little bit about your second race here tonight.
Well, I caught some brakes early on and some valuable track position, and then I kept the nose clean for the most part, most of the race, and I think a lot of the guys may have damage, so that really helped. And then, unfortunately, the deal with Barnes and Brightsman kind of changed the race. I think we were going to have a really good battle there with the car, maybe the 46, but whatever happened there, that definitely changed the outcome of the race a little bit.
Yeah, definitely a tough scene there towards the end of the race. But getting a win here tonight gives you a lot of momentum going into next week's Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 200 at Irwindale. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts of Irwindale.
Irwindale's one of the tracks I actually ran a lot less than most tracks on here. Wenatchee Valley Super Oval is sponsoring next week, and they actually are the home track I race at in real life, so I'm hoping to have a good show for that. It was really cool tonight to have the Northwest Super Late Model Series, the premier touring division in the whole Northwest, sponsor tonight's race for Goodwin. Those guys come on board and help us out. It was really cool. Hope we put on a good show for them.
Well, it was definitely a good show from up here in the 3 Wide TV booth, like you guys do each and every week here in the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. Very, very cool to see you in Victory Lane. But before we go, you got any more shout-outs for us?
Just all the people that have come on board this year and helped us with the league, helping BJ with the league. Joe's Racing Products. There's a bunch to list, but Terry Bridges, Northwest Race Report, Northwest Super Late Model Series, Hermiston. I mean, there's been all sorts of people helping us out and make this possible. My buddy Mike Wood back in Middlesex, North Carolina, he paints most of these cars for us. Takes a lot of time out of his days to make us all look good. So big shout out to him.
Absolutely. But Seth, I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up for us here down in Victory Lane. But best of luck next week at Irwindale.
Hey, thanks, guys. Take it easy.
All right, Carlos. I think it is about time to bring up tonight's final race results up on screen. And it will be the number 32 machine, Seth Frazier taking home the victory, Dick Bellamy coming home second, Bart Hector Jr. coming in third. I'm sure that is a pretty popular one in the chat here tonight. Brad Carpenter, winner last week at Iowa, comes home fourth. Cameron Doyle, fifth. Dylan Huffines comes home sixth. Shane Quinn, seventh, winner of race number 1. Thomas O'Hara finishing in 8th. Joey Bird, 9th. Joshua Beal rounds out your top 10. Carlos, take it away.
Yeah, in 11th place, we're going to have Travis Barnes, Brian Payne in 12th, BJ Tidrick 13th. Casey Garber will be finishing 14th with Josh Robinson in 15th. Christopher Heim, pardon me, he's going to be finishing 16th with Adam Hom in 17th. Sean Brightsman in 18th and Travis McKinney in 19th. And rounding out the top 20 will be Ellie Musgrave, who fortunately did not have her night go anywhere near as planned tonight. TV was acting out there a little bit. 21st, we Brad Morrison with Casey Tillman in 22nd, Ryan Gormley in 23rd. Ryan Gormley also not having the night he wished, as the rookie just got a hard talking to from Martinsville, with Josh Childress finishing in 24th. And Peter, that's pretty much going to do it for us. Is there anything we're going to talk about?
Yeah, just want to give a few shout-outs here. Of course, want to thank Northwest Super Late Model Series for jumping on board here tonight. Very important to have someone like them on board. Of course, they've, like what Seth said, they've asserted themselves since 2014 as the premier touring series up there in the Northwest portion of the United States. If you have the opportunity to go to one of their 6 races this year, definitely go check them out. You got to support your local racing. You got to support those drivers each and every week at your local racetrack, especially when they're in super late models. It costs a lot of money to run super lates, and they're very, very fast. They're awesome race cars. And, of course, with not having a premier or any type of real top-tier NASCAR racing up in the Northwest portion of the United States, go check out the Northwest Super Late Model Series and go check out their website, NWSLMS.com. Also got to thank Joe's Racing Products for sponsoring the league. Sargent's Place, Rustic Moon, Hermiston Raceway Custom Fab, PFC Brakes, Pyrotech, Tidrick's Quality Transmissions, Mike Wood Race Designs, NWR Race Report, Short Track Racer, Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, Mission Valley Super Oval, State Line Speedway. And, of course, for us here at 3 Wide TV, want to give a shout-out to our friends over at OCR TV, Thomas Morris, for giving us this graphics package, and our friends over at SimTV for the cameras each and every week. But I think that is going to do it for us here tonight. So we want to thank each and every one of you on YouTube watching us here And we'll see you again next week for the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 200 at Irwindale Speedway here for the Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. See ya!